Yes, I'd like to talk about if you're going on a trip to your homestead or your private property, do you have a backup plan? Do you have the, the route that you've chosen is like you know it like the back of your hand? You just kind of blindly go to your homestead or your private property. What would you do if you couldn't go your normal way? Do you have another route planned? Do you have a um, a route that is maybe not on the normal given path that you would normally take? Even if it took you a little bit longer, or maybe if it took you less time, I would doubt that, but I don't know. You know, what happens if you're stuck in gridlock? What happens if, shit hit the fan and you guys were kind of stuck on the side of the road? What would you do? What would you want to do? Do you have little kids with you? Do you have animals with you? Do you have older kids with you? What would your scenario look like if you couldn't get to your destination in a timely fashion? Because you just never know who you're going to run into. You could run into, granted, you could run into nice people. You could also run into evil people. And let's just say nowadays it's easier to run into evil people than it is kind and honest people. Especially if you have children. Now, what would you do if this is what you ran into? You couldn't get through. You knew that multiple people died in something like that. What would you do? You had to pull over on the side of the highway because it couldn't move. It wasn't moving. There was nothing you could do. You couldn't even back up. You couldn't get off the highway. You gotta have a plan for this. So what are you gonna do? Okay. You need to get yourself a atlas map and pre-program your destination to your property. This way you have at least a backup plan. You're not going to get stuck in a highway that would have been totally devastated for hours on end if you couldn't get off of it. You need to be aware of that, especially for your family. If you got kids, you got animals with you. I don't know what you're traveling with, but you've got to be prepared for that, especially with your kids. What if your kids have to use the bathroom? You're not going to pull over on the side of the highway and let them use one of these. Now, granted, you may have one of those inside your truck or that they could use, which I would strongly suggest that you do that. This is at least another way of doing it kind of outside, the normal luxuries that you could get. And keeping your children occupied. They need to be kept busy. They need their snacks. They need to be able to drink. Oh, now I thought this was kind of cute. Just a way to kind of let them know how close they are to their property. Now this one, did you think of getting enough gas? What if you ran into gas shortages? We don't know what we're going into at all. When you're thinking about preparing, we just don't know what we're dealing with anymore. We've got to think outside of what our normal brains are capable of thinking. we have to think with as much of our not only common sense but our tactical thinking. Well, I just want you guys to know that I really do hope that you are blessed in your travels and you make it to your property in one piece, and your family is safe, your children are safe, and everybody is okay. And I hope that you don't run into the evil nature of people. I hope if you do run into anybody, they're kind and they're honest and they have a faith about them. But I hope that you guys had a blessed journey, and I hope that you make it to your property all in one piece and that nothing bad happened to you guys. Have a good one, and bye now. So I just want to say, Bossy Boots signing off for now. You guys have a good one. Talk to you soon.